Greetings, people. I come in peace. So, Tyson Fury seems to think because he trained harder than usual and he didn't speak to his family for weeks that he should have won the fight for his sacrifice. Well, Fury's sacrifices weren't good enough to beat Usyk. Fury arguably did better in this fight, just like AJ did better in his second fight. But that doesn't mean he won. What makes me laugh, or should I say concerned, is that Fury could land 2 good shots in a round, and the commentators would say that's a Fury round, even though Usyk would land 7 clean shots. It's called the halo effect. When you see something special out of someone ordinary, mundane even, just because you favour them for some reason. Countless paintings from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance period depict notable men and women with the heavenly light of the halo on top of their heads. These paintings in effect lead the observer to form favourable judgments about their characters. Likewise, according to the psychological concept of the halo effect, one attribute of a certain person leads an observer to draw a generalizing conclusion about that person and his capabilities. So in this case, because Fury says how great he is, his ring IQ, and he's unbeaten and he moves well for his size, once that idea is perpetuated, he's all of a sudden deemed as invincible, and everything he does is genius. And the general masses fall in line with that idea. And the commentary exposes the fragile minds of those buying into this idea.
And Tyson Fury, whom I've said for so long, is a boxer of limited ability. Usyk made all the running. He threw all the punches. He landed most of the punches. And I think if he had, he had a stone or more in weight, he would have stopped Fury. Given the number of times he landed good clean punches, he just didn't have the power in those punches against a much, much heavier opponent. As for Fury, for him to put his hand up before the verdict was announced at the end was a bit of a cheek. I mean, there is no way he came close. And I think the style of the fight and the way it went from round 1 kind of defined the fact that Usyk was very much in command throughout. I gave Fury maybe 2 rounds, perhaps 3, and maybe a couple of ones which were shared. Usyk won by a mile. And the other point I would like to make is that the commentating team on DAZN was, in my view, terribly biased. I think all they could talk about was Fury throughout. In fact, at one point, I was wondering when they were going to mention Usyk's name. So I think DAZN have got to sort that one out. And
Dr. Harris.
Yes?
Do you concur?
I concur. When you see a smaller man push back a bigger man, that counts for something. Usyk didn't allow Fury to gain anything. This is a man with a 4-stone weight deficit and 6 inches shorter, intimidating the irreverent Goliath Tyson Fury. The commentary team was something to behold. The partiality and favoritism was stratospheric, dizzying. These are grown men, paid either way to do a job of objective analysis, but instead they sounded like emotional descendants, siblings of the Fury clan. They changed their tune after they heard how Sergio Mora was scoring the fight. You don't get points for intent. In the first round, Fury missed most of his punches, but the commentary was saying good work from Fury. Fury was using his jab more and profiling, shaping with it, but most was grazing Usyk's guard. Usyk easily took away Fury's right uppercut by moving to his right more, positioning his head to his right off the centre line. Every time Fury had success, or even looked like he was doing something effective, Usyk would reply and take away any momentum Fury might have gained. Usyk was constantly ducking and slipping under Fury's lead hand and throwing hard jabs and straight lefts to Fury's body. I gave Usyk the first 2 rounds off the bat. AJ's scorecard was extremely kind, to say the least. Let's face it, Usyk bullied Fury again and made him work arduously. The only difference I saw was that Fury had his hands up more, particularly his right hand was up by the side of his jaw to negate Usyk's looping left hooks. Fury tried to utilise a cuffing long left hook off the jab, but to no effect. Usyk was industrious and diligent, meeting Fury in the centre of the ring at the start of every round. Usyk was in the centre of the ring more than Fury. Even though Fury was more assertive, he was still predominantly on his back foot. 3 and 4 I gave to Usyk also. I can't just give it to Fury because he was holding his shape. The positive and effective punches was coming from Usyk. In the 5th, Fury threw a lead uppercut that grazed Usyk and caught him by surprise, then mauled him a bit. Fury did well in the 5th and caught Usyk with rights, lefts and body shots. And even though Usyk came back and finished the round, undeterred and wanting more action, I gave that to Fury. But it was still a competitive round. In the 6th, Usyk stiffened Fury slightly and took away the incentive, then consistently put Fury on his back foot. There was times in the fight that Fury was fighting scared, and the fatigue was starting to show. Fury did well in the 9th, but once again, Usyk wouldn't allow him to build on his success and came back with some lethal combinations. And if the bell didn't ring, Fury could have been in more serious trouble. Usyk was stalking Fury and wouldn't let up in the 10th. Fury unleashed the uppercuts, but none had the desired effect. And Usyk countered with a left that shook Fury and he had to hold on to Usyk. Fury tried to take back the initiative after the referee called break, but was stopped in his tracks by another straight left. The 10th round was littered with Fury spoiling and holding, trying to get away from Usyk's onslaught. Usyk threw a beautiful pull counter, which made Fury hold again. Then there was another uppercut from Fury that was returned with interest by Usyk. This was the general pattern of the fight. Fury was trying to impose and dictate things, but he just wasn't allowed to rule the proceedings. He couldn't get the impetus he desired. Fury was taking heavy shots in the 11th, and I give him credit, he didn't fold, but he was outclassed. The 12th round was also Usyk's. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see why it was so wide on the AI scorecard. 118 to 112, a genuine representation of what I saw. Anything more than that was really a sympathy vote. Tally score. The AI gave Fury a share of the rounds I gave to Usyk. It gave Fury the 5th, which was a Fury round. I don't know how the algorithm is calibrated or formulated, but I do know it's emotionless. And as we know, feelings tend to get in the way of objective judgment.
Where emotion is involved, evidence is not required.
The 3 judges saw it 116 to 112, so 8 rounds to 4. And the AI had it 10 rounds to 4. Also, Sergio Mora had it 8 rounds to 4. So 4 people, hired for judgment and opinions, had Fury winning only 4 rounds. The AI had Fury winning 2 rounds clear and a share of another 2. Even the biased pundits had Usyk winning it. Obviously not by the same margins, but Usyk won.
116, 112 Usyk, and there's been a bit of a furore about it.
Well, I don't think furore is really, people might grumble about the margin. I only had it by a couple of rounds or so, which I think Spencer agrees with. But I don't think there was any doubt who won it. When you were sitting watching, despite what Frank Warren might have said, I think it was a fairly easy fight to score. I think it was fairly clear that Usyk was quite definitely the winner.
Yeah. I mean,
interestingly, Usyk said this fight was easier for him than the first one. Duke McKenzie said he thought Fury fought better in the first fight. I said Clowning didn't lose Fury the first fight. They were grasping at straws. It made no difference. He's just not as good as Usyk. Something else that didn't make any difference was leaving his father out. It made no difference whatsoever. And having a loved one in your corner is more of a help. Just ask Daniel Dubois. All he had to say was, let Sugar do the talking between rounds. Maybe that's easier said than done with John Fury. A lot was also made about Fury leaving his family and being secluded in training camp, like it was something unique, strange and state-of-the-art. Everybody leaves their family for weeks when they're in training camp. Usyk missed the birth of two of his children due to training camps, and due to Fury's shenanigans and having to extend training camps. Anyone would think Fury did something out of the ordinary. If anyone thinks that Fury won this fight, they are delusional.
So, I mean, it's like they've got one rule for Tyson Fury and another rule for everybody else. But regardless of that, he didn't win the fight. I didn't think he was ever going to win the fight, and he wasn't really in the fight for me. 8 rounds. I thought Fury would probably get stopped, to be honest with you, but he didn't, and that was probably down to the fact that his saving grace was that he was 20 stone and not 16 stone, what Usyk was. I mean, Usyk was never hurt in the fight. He was never really troubled in the fight. He finished the fight like a champion does, on his toes with a flurry. The way he carries himself, the way he conducts himself, both inside and outside the ring, you know, a lot of young people, old people can learn so much from this guy because he's everything a champion should be. Unfortunately, Fury, for me, he kind of lowered the tone. But when you lower the tone, you start using the C word and calling the other guy all kinds of verbal, horrible names, that leaves a bit of taste in your mouth. And you know, there've been many people this morning be saying, well, he got what he deserved because he didn't deserve to win the fight. And for me, like I say, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. And you know, he got beat up by middleweight again.
Fury should count himself lucky this wasn't a 15-rounder. Anyway, the right man won and justice was served. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please subscribe if you want. But remember, choose life. Thank you.
And I'm telling you guys, when you leave this joint, keep your chin up. Of course, it's a smart thing to keep your left shoulder up along with it, too. But whatever you do, don't go in for nothing shady. Stay kosher. Keep your nose clean. And remember, you'll always come out on top with honesty, industry, and good hard writing.